Hello everyone, welcome back to Savvy Looks, where I like to take outdated or damaged secondhand furniture and give it a whole new life. This week we're working on this dresser, which actually took me many months. I started this project and did the majority of it over the summer and just finished it up recently. It took a while, but I got this dresser for $50 from a Habitat for Humanity thrift store and definitely overpaid. It's an adorable shape, it's super cool, awesome hardware, but it had lots of damage. It needed lots of wood filling because of the veneer damage. The top was this thick plasticky material, even though the rest of it was solid wood with the wooden veneer. The body of the dresser was lifting up from the base. It was super dirty. The inside of one of the drawers had this weird pink slimy gunk, and it was missing a few drawer rails. This guy had definitely seen better days, but I knew that it was gonna look super cool when it was done. First up, I removed all of the hardware and cleaned everything very well. This piece was pretty disgusting. I used Dawn dish soap and water mixed together in a spray bottle to thoroughly clean the whole piece down and get rid of any of the grease on the surface, and then rinsed everything back with clean water. I really wanted to leave as much wood as I could on the fronts of the drawers, so I went ahead and sanded all of them down to bare wood. I could tell though that some of them I would just have to paint, particularly the bottom 3 drawers. Because of how bad the veneer damage was, it did not look good. And I did end up sanding through the veneer on one of the top 3 drawers, which was a total bummer, but I was able to cover it up, and I'll show you how I did that later on. I mixed together some Bondo, which is a really heavy-duty 2-part fast-drying wood filler, and applied it to all of the areas that I needed to wood fill. Next, I used my 3x4 electric ray serve prep sander again to sand back all of the wood filler and give the whole piece a good scuff sand. Next, I had to address how much this base was coming apart from the body of the dresser. It was actually a pretty easy fix. I just lifted up the dresser so that the pieces started to separate and applied a thick layer of wood glue in the gap. I set it back down, wiped back any of the glue that seeped out, and let it dry. Next, I applied a pre-stain wood conditioner, which just helps even out the wood tones onto the fronts of the wooden drawers. And then, okay, this might be a little bit ridiculous, but I didn't have a stain with me, but I did see that you can put a bunch of old worn out Crayola markers into water and it will kind of create a watercolor stainish thing. I tried it out with a bunch of old markers that were totally not usable anymore, and it kind of actually worked. I had to do a lot of layers to make it look like a traditional stain, but it ended up working totally fine, and even after I sealed it, it behaved just like a normal stain. For the hardware, I knew that I definitely wanted to use the original hardware. There was no way that I was going to replace it, but it was very dirty, so I put it all in a container, poured in distilled white vinegar, let it sit for a while, and then used steel wool and a cleaning toothbrush to scrub it back to its previous glory. This actually worked so well. The difference between the before and after is crazy. Now it's prime time. I primed using my favorite Zinzer bin shellac based primer all over the piece, except for those top 3 drawers, which I left wood. I really like using this kind of primer because it's shellac based, so it blocks any odors or stains from the old wooden finish. It also helps improve adhesion, and it works kind of like a first coat of paint when you're painting with a light color, because it means that you have to use fewer coats of paint. I gave everything a light sanding with fine grit sandpaper to smooth everything out, and then wiped back all of my sanding dust. Then it was time to paint. I didn't have a paint color that exactly matched what I wanted to go for, which was a slightly warm tone light gray color, so I ended up mixing all of these colors together to create the color I was looking for. Once I did have the correct color, I painted it onto the whole piece with my Zibra paintbrush. Finally, I was ready to top coat with my Zibra fan brush and Varathan satin top coat. I did 3 coats of top coat on the whole piece and an additional 4th and 5th coat of top coat on the higher traffic areas like the top and the edges where the drawers slide. To hide the area where I went through the veneer, I taped off a little edge piece, sprayed it with shellac so that it wouldn't bleed through, and painted the edge. I used my finger and a little bit of top coat around the edge of the tape line to seal in the tape, so when I applied the paint, it wouldn't bleed under the tape. And then after all that was done, I top coated with my Satin Varathan top coat over the drawers. After reapplying hardware, I went back and looked at this gross hardened pink goop that was dried in the back of one of the drawers. I applied some Easy Off to it, let it sit for about 20 minutes, then I came back and just scraped it off. It came off way easier than I expected. Then I just applied Feednwax to the insides of all of the drawers to freshen everything up. Lastly, I created new drawer rails with some old scrap wood and glued them in place. Let's take one more look at where this thrift store dresser started. Very gross and dinged up, lots of veneer damage, and structurally a bit iffy, and here it is now. I hope you enjoyed this furniture transformation. It definitely took me way longer than anticipated, but I'm so happy with how it turned out. I hope someone can love it for years to come now that it's actually functioning as a dresser and all of the drawers work, and it's not like a safety hazard for mold or something. If you enjoyed this project, please come follow me on Instagram at savvy.looks and subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching and keep an eye out for the next video.